Milwaukee now. Talk to author, radio talk show host, and editor-in-chief of the website Right Wisconsin. He was, of course, a voice crying out in the wilderness months back when Donald Trump was moving towards the Republican nomination. John Meacham, it's good to see he's taken off his sackcloth and ashes, and now he's back into a coat and tie. Charlie Sykes, how are you doing today?
Good. Thanks for having me.
Good. So you just heard the conversation with the congressman, and there are a lot of us who wonder exactly how do you hold, and I'll just talk about a guy who's you know, from your state, and I've considered a good friend since he was 22 years old, Paul Ryan. How do you say a guy's a racist, and in the same sentence say you're going to support him?
Yeah, this is part of the problem here, and I guess I'm surprised that other people are surprised that you're seeing the kind of meltdown. Although meltdown doesn't seem to be quite strong enough a metaphor for what's happening here. You know, and Paul Ryan is doing what he's doing because he thinks that as Speaker he has to hold the House of Representatives. But you know, you're looking at what's going on right now, and I think people are recognizing that Donald Trump is not going to be changing, and what you have is what you have. And when you have the Wall Street Journal basically saying, look, this is the moment of truth. You either got to clean up your act or get out of the race.
So
you realize the degree of panic.
Yeah, Charlie Paul's a smart guy. I mean, the morning he endorsed Donald Trump, Mika and I said, hey, it's only going. What are you doing? It's only going to get worse. You think you're going to save your majority? You're going to end up actually damaging your majority. At what point do these leaders in Washington realize that cutting Trump loose and say, we disassociate ourselves from the racist remarks. We disassociate ourselves from the Putin, the Putin love fest. We disassociate ourselves from all that, and we're going to fight for a conservative Republican majority in the House and the Senate. Why can't they do that?
Well, I mean, I have been urging them to do this for months, and in fact, you know, I know it's obnoxious to say I told you so, but the reality is that when you endorsed Donald Trump, you bought into all of this. You made yourself hostage to every single tweet, every single outrage, every single insult, and now they're tied up to it. And how do they get the stink off of themselves? And I don't know, but I do think that you're really starting to see the guys looking around going, the only way we survive is by distancing ourselves from this guy. What it will take, and I've asked Paul Ryan this question many, many times directly. You know, he says, well, my endorsement's not a blank check. And I said, well, okay, is there some point at which that check expires, you know, it's returned by the bank? And he says, well, of course there is. Well, we haven't actually seen what that is. But Trump is saying, I'm gonna ride this thing all the way down. I'm not gonna change. I'm gonna be who I am. So we may get an opportunity to find out what is that bright line.
Charlie, is this anything?
John Meacham here.
Is this,
Charlie?
Is something like the Speaker's stance on this anything more than political fear?
Well, I think it's political duty. I think that, look, I think that if Paul Ryan was a member of, just a regular member of Congress, he wouldn't be doing this. If he was just chairman of House Ways and Means, I think he has a sense of political responsibility. I think that's misguided in this particular sense. And I think that, you know, he's got to have gone through some serious buyer's remorse over the last couple of weeks. But I will say that his, you know, victory last week does, in a sense, liberate him. I think the way that played out might actually be a green light for Paul Ryan to distance himself even more, particularly as these polls go into free fall. See, that then becomes, you know, a reason to do it. Now, the flip side of this is we're already starting the recrimination primaries. You've already seen this. You know, we're already starting to see, you know, the Sean Hannitys and the Laura Ingrams begin to say, who are we going to blame? You know, is this a stab in the back? And this is something that I think that Paul Ryan and Reince Priebus need to keep in mind. To the extent they distance themselves from Donald Trump, they will be the ones accused. They will be the ones accused by the enablers, by the media fluffers and enablers. They're going to be the ones accused of undermining and
Charlie,
betraying
that's
the party.
thing. They're going to be accused either way. Like Donald Trump's going to lose this regardless. I mean, and so you've got all of these scared leaders in this middle ground, and they're just going to get shot at from both sides. Anyway, they're telling me we have to go. Go ahead.
And that's why you have to do the right thing.
Exactly.
Ultimately, then you have to make the moral right thing for your integrity because you're going to get hit either way.
Exactly. All right, Charlie Sykes, come back soon if you will. We appreciate you being here. Still